Well, welcome to the Primary Sources and Online Learning webinar series, which is brought to you by the TPS Western Region in a partnership with the TPS Teachers Network. I am Keith Patterson. I'm the Associate Director of the Teaching with Primary Sources Western Region, and I will be your host tonight. Also, as I mentioned, Kyle Clayball will be our chat host, so he's lurking over in the chat room and will answer questions. And so go ahead and just post any questions or other things you have going on there, and he will do his best to be your voice and answer any questions. I just want to remind you, for those who would like professional development certificate for your participation tonight, we will be providing a link at the end where you can click in and fill out a brief reflection and where we can send the certificate to you. So we have a two-part program tonight, which will be presented to you by our two favorite geeky teachers, Laura Isrealsen and Michelle Pearson. And with that, we'll be doing the first part, which will be on Screencastify. And with that, I will hand it over to Laura and Michelle. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, I'm Laura Isrealsen. Right now I'm working as a digital coach in Denver Public Schools. I've been a librarian, an elementary teacher, middle school teacher, so a little bit of everything. And we're just happy to be here sharing some of our favorite tools with you tonight. You want to introduce yourself, Michelle?
Yeah, I could do it. I'm Michelle Pearson. I also am a teacher. Been teaching for 26 years, although I still feel that I'm a new teacher, not a veteran. Learn every day. I am also a geek. A lot of tech, social studies, primary sources are a passion for both of us. And you can find us in our classrooms and also online. So there you go.
All right, so we're going to start with Screencastify, and this is one of our favorite tools. Screencastify is just a really easy screen recorder that allows you to create screencasts of anything that you're doing online, but it also will help. It also works for your kids to use this as well. So we've been having a lot of luck with students using Screencastify too. So tonight we really want to kind of go through what is screencasting, how do you access Screencastify, and then explore some ideas. How do you use this with teachers? How do you use this with students? And how do you really focus on primary sources using screencasts? So that's our bit.ly if you want to get to this presentation, and we'd like you to ask questions inside of chat. You can break in. We're a small enough group. Go ahead and break in and ask questions. And that's kind of where we're going. So what is a screencast? A screencast is a digital video recording of your computer screen. So it usually includes audio narration. And if you've seen this, you've seen this when people are giving you a tutorial or a training video, sometimes a lesson. We've been using this a lot as we've moved to remote learning, with teachers just creating a welcome video and trying to help their students. So the nice thing about it is students can go at their own pace, they can rewind, they can refer back to this. So you're really just creating a recording for your students. Where do you find it? So Screencastify is an add-on in your Chrome toolbar. And it's just one of those additions. You go to the Chrome Web Store, and we've got a link right here, and you add it to your Google account. So it's really easy. In Denver Public Schools, we automatically load this on the students' Chromebooks and the teacher accounts. So everybody has Screencastify. We just have felt like it's that important of a tool and that easy to use. So that's where we do load that automatically, but you can just go to the Chrome Web Store or just go to this link and grab Screencastify. But this is what it looks like in your toolbar. All right. So when you're logging in the first time, and we've got a link to an IRAD tutorial, but also I'm going to play just a short video and kind of walk you through it. It looks a little bit different than how you'll see me walk through it today. So. And this is actually a screencast.
That when you sign in with Google, you have the kids choose their DPS account, and allow. You'll have to scroll down and allow. And then Screencastify will ask for permissions to use your camera and your microphone, your drawing tools. So you need to allow, and then it will come up with one more allow. Make sure that you allow that.
And this all happens the first time you log in, and then you'll never see it again.
Have the students say they're a student, how old they are.
So you can introduce yourself as an educator or a student. So either one, that's how your first login will look when you log in. And here's a little tutorial if you need another way to click in. So once you open Screencastify, the first time it'll ask you, just like we just walked through, to allow access to your camera and your microphone and link to your Google account. And so you can, we've been using it with our DPS Google account, but whatever Google account you're using at your school or your personal Google account. There are some different tools. So if you go to show more options, this is something we like to show the drawing tools. And we'll talk more about that. I like the countdown too, but you have some different options. You can, so you pretty much just go to the page you want to record, select the webcam, and then you can decide, do I want a webcam only? Do I want to film my desktop? Do I want to just film the tab that I'm in? And then you just hit record. It really is that simple. So once you are done recording, it creates a copy in your Google Drive. Automatically, it creates a folder in your Google Drive called Screencastify, and it keeps track of every screencast you've ever created, and it gives you a link. So just like you would share a Google document or Google Slides, you have a link, a Google Drive link to post to a classroom or share. And then you also have this history and versions of all your old Screencastifys.
So as a novice, I'm going to jump in and say, go into that folder once in a while and get rid of all the mistakes that you make so you don't mistakenly post something that you thought was your permanent video, because
Right.
I've done it. I've gone to the folder and the wrong one came up.
That's a really good point. And also, I'll always make sure that you name your video, right, when you're done, so that you have, it will do a timestamp, but it won't title it. So it's a good idea to always name it when you're done. So how are we for questions? Anybody have any questions? How's it going?
I just wanted to say you can also post directly from Screencastify to your Google Classroom.
Yeah.
You don't have to put it in Drive.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Pretty rock star.
Yeah, no questions in the chat quite yet. Just a lot of hellos from people. So I think you're okay to proceed.
Okay. All right. So let's go. All right. So let's go live. And I'm going to worry. Okay. So if I go live, it's going to let me, I'm actually, so my screen sharing is paused. So this is, this is where I'm not sharing correctly, right?
So you're still sharing now. So I think you probably can just go ahead and open up a tab and do your thing.
Okay. All right.
So Laura, while you're doing that, we've got a question about how is this different than QuickTime? Is one better than the other? Do you have any thoughts around that?
So I think it's just because it's so easy and there's a lot of security around it. We were able to get a quick data sharing agreement with students, so it was easy to use, right?
Yep.
So that's why we've gone with Screencastify. So I'm just going to open up a Google slideshow here and just kind of walk you through. So if I'm in, let's say I'm right here in Screencastify, I'm going to go up and choose at the top So right here in my toolbar, I've got Screencastify up here, and if I just hit Screencastify and it opens up, then I have some choices. So I'll show you some different ones. So if I just choose a webcam, then my options go away and I can hit record, and it really is just an image of me, and then I can do a video and say, welcome to class, I miss you, and just really capture whatever video I have. Once I hit stop, it takes me right to the editor, and I always title this so you can see that this is just me, and this is me talking.
And just really capture whatever video I have.
So then it's rendering, but I can copy this link. I can share it straight to my classroom. I can get an embed code. I can download it even. But if I copy the link, then there it is ready to go. And I have that, I have that record in my drive, and we'll show you that in a second.
And Laura, I'm going to hop up because we're only seeing the Google search screen, not your regular screencast process that you just used. So I'm not sure exactly what happened.
Okay.
But it didn't show it. Sorry.
Can you see screen sharing has stopped? So I just can tell I'm a Google. So can you see my screen?
Nope, not right now. You may need to reshare.
Okay.
I wonder if it was because you were in incognito that it was doing that.
Yeah, but I pulled out of that. So I want to share mine.
While we're waiting, we had a question from Margaret Lincoln. She was asking, is there any editing capabilities in Screencastify, or can you recommend some other extensions for Chrome that can do those editing skills or editing tasks?
Yeah, so let's look at that. Let's go back to Screencastify. Can you see me now, Michelle?
Yes, you're good. Thanks.
So you saw, but you didn't see what the webcam showed up?
We did not. Nope.
Okay, so maybe I'll go back to that one, but I'm going to go to desktop, and I'm going to choose embed webcam this time and show some more options, and I can hit record. So if you'll notice, it'll ask me, what do you want to share? I want to share my screen. I say share. Down here, I get a 3, 2, 1, and sometimes I'll use that to hide this because I don't really love that little message bar at the bottom. But then here's an embedded video of me, right? And I can drag that around and add that wherever I think that will work for kids or wherever I want. And I've also got something interesting with Screencastify. I have a toolbar down here. So at the bottom, the first thing I have is my mouse. So if I click on my mouse, then I have several different types. So I can go in for the snowball, and I can highlight and really use that as a mouse to highlight what I'm doing. I can also go in and choose, like I have some other options. If I turn the snowball off, I can choose the clicks, and then I get this red click wherever my mouse goes. I also have some drawing tools. So I can choose the color, and I can use my drawing tools to emphasize or to highlight. The thing that's fun about the drawing tools is if you use your up and down arrow keys, you can change the width of the line that you're using. And you could give kids assignments like, you know, highlight something in green, find something, draw a square around something in yellow. We've done some math problems. There is an eraser, so if you go in, I can erase, but I can also clear all the drawing that I've done. And I can turn with this little camera, I can turn the embed on and off. So I know up here, so I'm going to go back to my mouse. I know up here with my Screencastify icon that there's a little red dot there, so it means that that's recording. So if I click on that, then I have the options to stop. So I can stop that.
And Laura,
then,
that's not showing. So talk us through it, because we're not seeing that piece. Everything else we've seen, just that
okay.
piece.
This is really the beauty part. This is where the editing is. So why do you think we're not seeing that?
I don't know. You can talk us through. Keep going.
So this is where, once you click on that, that's where you get the link in Google Drive. And that's also with the screen, you can, right now they're offering options to go into their editor, but only until April 30th. So then you've got your video. I don't know why. And every time the video, the editor shows up, then it says it stops sharing.
That's okay. Let's go ahead and go forward, and because you've got so much good stuff to share, let's go for it.
So once you get into Screencastify, you saw the drawing tools, and you can choose to go back and forth between and here's how it looks. Once you upload it, you've got your Google Drive, and you're really in there. So they do have the options for the editor, and the editor shows up at the top. Open the editor, and you can add text, and you can do a little bit of cropping. It is not the greatest editor, and it really is only available till the 30th. So I don't do a ton of editing inside of Screencastify. It really is just for those 3 to 5 minute videos that you're going to work on. And then you saw the options to share to my Google Classroom, to publish to YouTube, or to just grab a link. And you can kind of see right here, since that wasn't showing up, this is where I would title the tab, the screencast, and then go into my Google Drive.
Cool.
So some good ideas for resources that I love. So this is just a video we made in Screencastify. And
Good morning, class. I miss you. I care about you so much. And
she just chose the webcam when she went to Screencastify and made a little video of herself. I'm going to play a little bit more
learning today,
because you'll see how the book shows up.
What books did you read for fun yesterday? Remember that yesterday we read the book Richard, right?
So it just grabs whatever you're doing and really is a nice resource. And the kids want to see your face, right? And so it's nice to just turn the webcam on yourself and give some directions before starting an assignment. Some ideas to use with Screencastify and primary sources. We have a link here to an ARS template. So this is just a student went in and explained.
This is an example of an annotated resource set, something that we assign to students or we create as resources for students. We will give you the template for this, but here's a student who created an annotated resource around how World War II affected American society. That was his essential question. He filled out an abstract, so this was the assignment. He began to collect primary sources around this topic and even have thumbnails. So imagine using Screencastify to really highlight what's going on. So here you can understand or circle or highlight what's going on with the people using tools in this primary source. He could even go to the pointer and open up the primary source, look at it on the big screen. Where did he get it? What else can we learn about this item? So
I really like this because I like listening to students walk through and doing kind of a think aloud, having them tell us what they're thinking in terms of how they're dealing with the resources and with the primary source. And we have a link to an ARS template that you can assign students here as well. So a nice thing to think about to use with Screencastify. Analyze a map So we just loaded a map. So really all you're doing is whatever you have on your screen. And this one, a student, she had a, let's see, she had a map and she was telling about the Civil War, and she went through and used the drawing tools. You can see them in Screencastify, and told about where the battles were and her understanding of the Civil War. And it just takes it to the next level. And instead of just assigning this map to your students, you can then, they can finish the work, but then they can create the screencast over the top and really explain their thinking. Another way is to go straight into the Library of Congress. Here's the Library of Congress analysis tool, but students can ask questions and analyze a resource that you decided for them.
Or having your students share a primary source from the Library of Congress. Here we have the suffrage stamp, and inside of the Library of Congress, whenever we have any kind of an image or an object, we can get some information about this item. So students can use their drawing tools to tell you it was created in 1902, explore a little bit around some of the ideas that this primary source is going over.
So depending on what you assigned and how you assign this primary source, you can really push students to another level of inquiry. And if you use the analysis tool, and I would click on it, but every time I go out, it's popping me out of the screen share. But the analysis tool really walks them through. What are you wondering about? What do you notice? And all of those things they could use the Screencastify tools with to highlight in that primary source. So they're going straight to that primary source and really helping you understand if they understand it, and helping them to dig into that primary source, break it down, understand it better, and really analyze what's going on. Dubbing a video. So if a student goes in and turns off the sound, and then they do the sound over the top using Screencastify. So they're really, I'll give you a little taste. We're getting close.
Let's say I'm a student and I am going to share a video, but I'm going to dub over and do my own audio. So right now I'm looking at the Colorado Experience on Rocky Mountain PBS. I started with the Magic Mountain episode. So if I were a student and I'm running Screencastify, I have my tools, so I can turn off the audio, so you'll be able to hear. They start with the audio, but if I turn the audio off, then as a student, I can dub over this. I can actually use some of my drawing tools, to point out some of the artifacts, the things that come up. Here's my trail.
So again, your students are really showing you what they know, right? And walking through, but it's their voice. So they could go in and out and really dub a video, but narrate it themselves. They can explain an assignment. This one's kind of fun, and we put a template for some political cartoons in here, but this one was done in Google Drawing.
Imagine having students create something like this about political cartoons. So much information in political cartoons. They could do it around a theme like this one, around public debates, a time period in history, a problem, something that's gone on, a viewpoint. So if they came in with their drawing tools inside of Screencastify, they could really highlight a specific thing that's going on in the cartoon. What are they labeled? Something to notice. Over here we have the different trusts and what they're talking about. So you could really see if students understand the political cartoon. You also could give them, they could find some more information about by going to the link on the Library of Congress and actually summarizing, discussing more about this. the whole time creating a Screencastify to explain their learning, what they noticed about this. This was in 1706. Again, the drawing tools or the highlighter pens.
So you kind of get the idea of using Screencastify to really dig into these primary sources, let the kids do that, or you can go through and explain using the drawing tools and really going back and forth and working with them. We put in a virtual museum exhibit here. There's a template for a class presentation. Kids can put their own primary sources in and create a virtual museum, and then use Screencastify to be the museum guide and walk through. So that's a great resource for you. We wanted to also show you, we've got a one-pager here. And inside this one-pager, we like to try to leave you with a one-pager so you've got lots of information. And there's a one-pager on how to download it, set up Screencastify. There's a way to look through the tools. But down here, I really want you to see the 25 ways to use Screencastify with Google Apps and 50 ways to use it, tons of ideas. There's a little Screencastify student e-course. It takes about 7 minutes for the, and again, I guess I'm losing anytime but inside of here, and then the students can take about a 7-minute course and they can go through and get Screencastify and get certified in Screencastify. So lots of information there. Check out the one-pager and look at those resources. So inside of this presentation, you can click on this page. Here's the code to get the premium access to Screencastify. Right now, they're giving away their premium access. The thing with Screencastify is usually you have a 5-minute limit, but with the premium access, you can go up to 40 minutes, and there's the code for at least the next month. But we have really found power in keeping those videos at that 5-minute limit. So how are we doing, Michelle? Do we have some questions?
Not seeing a whole lot, but there may be some verbally from people. Just so I'm going to open it up for that, and I'm going to share the link and the code in the chat box as well. So are there any questions? Everybody's way quiet.
I know, and I'm sorry, my screen wasn't sharing all the way today. It must be something.
Yeah, it looks like they're looking for the link to the presentation, which is being posted by several people now. So it's in the chat box there.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I've been playing with it this week, and I've been doing tech tips for my kids every day. Like,
oh, great.
How to turn in a Google Doc on their classroom, or introducing new apps to them, like this is how we're going to use Flipgrid, or this is how we're going to use Padlet, and just showing them my screen and talking them through it. And I think that's been really helpful for them. I talked to my classes today and they were like, oh my gosh, we love your tech tips because it's showing us exactly what we need to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of power in that, right? Just being able to hear your voice and also just walking through each of those things.
Yeah, it's been really helpful for 6th graders who have a really hard time turning in the right assignment to the right assignment on Classroom. That it was a game changer.
I hope you flip that around, Kathy, and have your students start creating some screencasts as well.
That's my hope for coming up. I wanted to get myself used to it and then the kids used to it first.
Right.
Yep. Good idea.
Yeah, thanks, Kathy. And that pretty much gives us our first segment here about Screencastify. So thanks, Laura and Michelle. As a reminder, I had said that we would have the link up there for if you're interested in getting a PD certificate for your time here this evening. The link is there. It's bit.ly/PS Teaching Online. That will get you to a form where, like I said, there'll be a quick reflection and information about how we can get that certificate out to you. So that information is there. So yeah, thank you for once again joining us for this Primary Sources and Teaching Online webinar series. Again, this is brought to you by the TPS Western Region and the TPS Teachers Network.